Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Ali. And today we're going to decipher and decipher the Bible's second book of Kings, chapter 2, specifically verses 23. A little before that first. But let me just give you some backstory here about Elisha's second miracle here. And basically, in the Bible, the brothers come to Elisha and tell him that, they was in a good place, but it wasn't no water. The land was dry. Meaning that the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad wasn't really established there. Now, this may sound kind of crazy to y'all, but when I was a young minister by the name of Elisha Fard Muhammad, I really had to look at this like, huh, did that just happen? We it's like when you soldiering in the nation of Islam, like say you're reading the Bible and you hear about a man renowned in the temple and he rise up against Moses and Aaron, and then you read in Message to the Black Man, Muhammad speaks the final call, and you see Malcolm going against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the controversy with Farrakhan with him, because Farrakhan riding with the messenger. And it's like, yo, these scriptures is deep. That's what made me want to study this Bible and Quran and Torah and Septuagint and the Meta Netta or the hieroglyphs. This ancient stuff on earth. It's like, yo, this is deep. And trying to understand it in reality is my thing. Like I believe there are many Christs, many antichrists, many Malcolms, many Farrakhan's. Everybody I was soldiering with, we all wanted to be a baby Farrakhan. I tried it back in the day, but it's a North Philly thing. This haircut is actually from back in the day. The brothers, I was born with real long curly hair. My mom had me with this long behind braid. Now, my pop is like a North Philly. He was known as the Iceman. My pop was like, I used to watch him break bricks with his bare fist with his friends drinking Thunderbird. He was a man's man. So eventually he got my mom to cut that darn ponytail off, and she put it in a photo album and kept a long braid thing. And I never really liked long hair. So I was like, nah. So the brothers, they used to cut your hair bald. I go to FOI barbershop. My mom sent me down there because the brothers barbershop was cheap, and she knew that they was going to make sure I look like I'm ready for church or something. They going to have you look like a junior fruit. I wasn't fruit. And me and my friends, we hated going in the brothers barbershop because we knew we had to have discipline in there. We knew we had to respect them brothers. They knew how to handle us. Them brothers was real good brothers. Black owned, black operated, black minded, black militant. Stern. And I come in there, I try to spin them. Oh, my mom said, just take a little. I'm like, man, sit your behind down. And they just give you what they call a semi-hustle. They just cut your joint. Philly, we had the 3 shades, tapes and all. They hook you up. You look cute and all that, fly, but you don't be wanting your hair that short. Like that, man. But the reason I brought this up and made me think about it is, in the Bible, there's a story in the second book of Kings, chapter 2, where we're actually in the yard. And you got to understand something about America's prisons. America's prisons have a lot of tribes in there, a lot of like nation states. It's not like TV, all this other stuff you see out here. It's not like that. It's like you have like clans, if you will. It's like you got fruit over here, Sunnis over here, 5%ers over here, Shia over here, Ahmadi over here, Bilalians over here, revolutionaries over here, the hustlers over here, the gay community over here, the snitches over here, whatever. Know what I mean? And basically, you stay in your lane, or you go into the lion's pit, or in the yard you handle your business. Now in prison, you better mind your business. Now I mean, like people. I know people. I seen people get murdered in prison. I seen people get stabbed into the guy's arm was physically tired. That's how they'd stab you up. Like you be like, yo, did he just stab this dude like 80 times? Is it that serious? Know what I mean? And and so you gotta have protocols. Now I mean, I used to be in military positions like a private soldier, squad leader, lieutenant, assistant captain, captain of security, student minister, assistant minister, eventually became minister, eventually became prime minister in there. Know what I mean? But I was under the Supreme Minister Salim Mahdi Saddam, Wooly 30X Cleat. That was my minister. He was basically on death row. Know what I mean? But he taught us how to survive in the belly of the beast. Know what I mean? The thing I love about him, thoughts of peace be upon him, because he died in prison. Know what I mean, from cancer. But the thing I love about him and his teaching and his training was his balanced approach. Now, I mean, he was the type of brother that he give you the messenger's raw, in-depth, righteous teachings. 100% right and exact. His thing, straight lessons, message to the black man, vegetarian, eat 1 meal a day, pray 7 times a day, study your Bible, study your Quran, live your Bible, live your Quran, respect people, woo, man. But a Muslim respects all people, demands respect from all people. Meaning, do for self, make it happen, be fearless, put the fear of God in these jokers. That's the mentality he had. Now, with that type of balance, you had the spiritual and you had the streets. You had one foot on land, other foot on the waters. Now, I mean, that's the type of men he was making. That's the type of gods he was building. Now, I mean, are revealing to themselves. Now, I mean, so it wasn't that the FY was trying to be tough, because we wasn't tough at all. We was trying to be brothers. And at the time, we were like the minorities. I mean, like we're a tiny, tiny little clans, and the majority of the people wasn't Sunni. Nowadays is a lot of Sunnis, but back in the day, it wasn't like that. I'm talking like early 80s. It was a lot of followers of the messenger's son, Imam Warfdeen Muhammad. And at that time, I'm with the raw teachers of the messenger. So it's like, you guys to be crazy to say you FY back then. They used to throw soap at us. That's what type of, how to give you an idea how it was. They would physically throw bars of soap because they was like, oh, they trying to bring back the old. Now these dudes is not cowards. These is dudes that's, majority of them are former FOIs from the Nation of Islam. So they know what we know. We don't know what they know. See, they know the lessons and the manuals and the teachings, but they also learned Arabic and how to make rakats. So when we used to argue with them, I used to crush them with the teachings. But one thing I could never get with them on was the Arabic. They used to be like, oh, but you not make salat. I didn't know how to make salat in Arabic. Shout out to General Nasheed that taught me how to make salat. FOI, Nasheed was my seller. He taught me how to make rakats. And I was like, oh, it's a rap now. I mean, but then, when I started studying, it's like, it wasn't nothing spooky about salat. Messenger really taught all that kind of stuff. So it was like stages of growth and development, if you will. Now, I mean, but 30X, I mean, he wasn't making no right. He's like, brother, we answer our own prayers. Now, I mean, he be like, I pray to Allah to get out of death row. I do my legal work. I get this money together to get this lawyer. I mean, I'm looking to the gate. Let them slip. I'm out. I mean, so we didn't believe in no mystery God. I mean, They named Canada's law after the supreme angels, the Dobie law. The Dobie law in the country of Canada basically states that if you escape from prison and run to Canada and you was on death row, they send you back because this, we had a real young good brother. Now I mean Roger Judge. Shout out to Roger. Now I mean still on death row. Now I mean, but basically he was a young boy and we all soldiering together, and the court basically sentenced him to death. So we like, what? Out of here. Now I mean, long story short, some angels took flight. Stuff got crazy. Now I mean, and they actually set him up, kidnapped him, and brought him back to the United States of America. Now I mean, but in those camps, it's just all kind of crazy stuff, like wild wars. I mean, like countless wars. Now I mean, most of them was really unnecessary, but it's like you're in a penitentiary, so it's like you have to be able to survive. Now I mean, so you do what you got to do. Like it is what it is. Now I mean, like if you're spiritual and you're humble and submissive, which our lessons teaches us, not all. Some people take your kindness for weakness. So what we was doing was like, okay, we're younger. Keep in mind, I'm soldiering with FOIs that's old enough to be my father's grandfathers, great grandfathers, and all that. I'm a teenager at the time. I mean, but we're on another level. We still got that youth. You know what I mean? Like when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, you still have that street stuff in you. I mean, like I'm still like North Philly gangbanging mentality. I mean, see, it's different now. It's hard for people in this day and time to understand the culture. Like when I was a child growing up, I couldn't travel in Philadelphia. I live in Philadelphia. No, I live in North Philly. I didn't go to West Philly. I didn't go to South Philly. I couldn't go down south. Are you crazy? Know what I mean? In the penitentiary, South Philly was like their own clan, their own nation. That nation, they was an army, and to them, they from South Philly. It wasn't a bunch of them, but they was some tough dudes. They wasn't no joke either. West Philly was huge. They get money. They more fly. You know what I mean? You know, they more cool. They like the big dudes. But North Philly is like the big part of Philadelphia. Now I mean, so we got the numbers. I mean, like if Kevin Coleman call us to the yard, it's like the Million Man March out this joint. I mean, but me being me, I was always just learning from everything. Now I mean, bringing my own stuff to the table, but I'm under fruit. My cousins and all of them, they all from North. My clock, everybody I know on my block, it's this a North Philly block. That's how I was structured. You on the North Philly block, you on the West Philly, you on the FOI in your cell, you on the FOI block or whatever. You know what I mean? So it was like all these divisions and boundaries and rules and regulations, and you just got to juggle all that stuff and understand in order to survive. You know what I mean? But I'm Isan Samed, Carl 17X Jackson. He gave me the Muslim name because I was born with the name Isha. You know what I mean? FOI, my Uncle Poozy, thoughts of peace be upon him. He named me when I was in my mom's womb. You know what I mean? He was like, give him the name Isha. My mom like, Isha? What Isha mean? That's the night prayer. That's the end of prayer. He's going to be the end of prayers. You know what I mean? And that's how I got my name, Isha. It's like, everybody in my family, that's what they call me, Isha, Asha. Some people pronounce it Asha, Isha, you know what I mean? ISHA, that's what I was born with, you know what I mean? So Isan, my celly, an elder from Jacksonville, Florida, from Muhammad's Temple number 66 back then, he met me, he just like, brother, you're Elisha. And I was like, Elisha? And he's like, yes, you're Elisha. And I said, why you say Elisha? He said, brother, the way you move in that yard today, And the reason he's talking about the way I moved in the yard was because in prison, you got all these different gangs. You got Aryan Nation that's tough. You got old little white guys that will kill you. You don't disrespect nobody in jail. I mean, if you see a gay guy, he may be gay, but he may be in jail for a triple murder. So you be this faggot this, and he stabbed you 29 times. Just because this dude over here, they be like, oh, so he's a rat, this, that, and the other. See, the way these young boys is now, the way they do stuff with social media, playing game, they get killed in jail. They don't go like that. I mean, they be on tip like, he's a rat, this, that. People be like, yo, those that say don't do, those that do don't say. Like, if you know this, that, and the other, go handle your business. What is you talking? What is you rapping about? We're not going to be arguing with you, I mean, in the child hall, arguing over in the yard. If it's on, it's on. If it's not, it's not. It's real simple. The rules and the regulations is real simple. Now, I mean, a lot of people like to play games. Now, I mean, they be, you know, they want to sucker punch you. I mean, you know, and it's like, nah, we had divine ethics. Boys fight to see who win or lose. FYs, we fight to see who live or die. So our thing was totally different. I mean, like, you punch me in my mouth, boo, oh, I'm not going to punch you in your mouth. You smack me in my cheek, I'm not going to smack you in the cheek. You smack me in my cheek, I'm going to stab you 10 times. You punch me in my eye, I'm going to stab you 20 times. You punch me in my mouth, I'm going to try to kill you. That's how we move. It's like anybody that know us for over 30, 40 years to tell you, that's how they move. Everywhere they went, that's how they move. They be like, Elisha, every camp he was in, the county, the state, wherever he was at, that's how fruit moved. Real story. I mean, and he's saying he was like, brother, you know, so we had a situation. I don't get into details, but I don't tell people my business either. But I'm just giving y'all some spiritual backdrops to help you understand some things. You know what I mean? And you have people that they call it, they'll take a razor blade. Like, you got different people from different, like say like New York. We have fruit, I mean, from New York, and they good at pickpocketing, razor blades up in the gums and all. I'm like, I'm not putting no razor in my jaw. Nah, I might cut myself. But that culture, they know how to do that stuff smooth, like Tupac and what was that movie he played in Above the Rim? You know what I mean? You got dudes that's real skilled with them razor blades, but it's a different culture. In Pennsylvania, you got Philly, you got Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh culture, shout out to the LA Supreme Angel, LA Salam Allah. You know what I mean? That's my brother, that's my celly. You know what I mean? Their culture is like Philly. I grew up 5 minutes from Joe Frazier's gym. So when we young, FOIs taught us about fair ones. Like, nah, y'all young, but you don't kill your brother, shoot your brother with a shotgun and a zip gun. Give him a fair one. You know what I mean? Meaning y'all fight, he whip your behind, you whip his behind, it's a draw, whatever, y'all shake hands, and y'all become best friends after that. It's not the end of the world because y'all fought. Brothers fight all the time. We family, you know what I mean? But the brothers from Pittsburgh, it was funny, but it wasn't funny. They not into boxing like guys from Philly. They more like got wrestling heroes, so they know how to wrestle. You know what I mean? And I remember Salam, he grabbed this gangster boy, old head gangster dude he was talking some gangster stuff to my celly though. But my celly, he trying to do some fly North Philly stuff on him. But Salam did some crap. It happened so fast, he dropped down to his knees and grabbed him by the bottom of his pants and turned him upside down and slammed his head into a coma. I'm like, yo, what the heck just happened? That's all we call that, the Pittsburgh Slam. I mean, like, yo, you know what I mean? But it was like, that's how it go in the belly of the beast. So you gotta understand the different cultures make people react differently. So one of the things that some gangbangers thing was they'll cut you with them razors like that. I mean, and I'm a minister. I was a minister of the fruit. So it was like, this is going to be a problem because small things start big wars. The Messenger told us in Message to the Black Man, 1965. So my thing base is like, all right, we're going to have to regulate every camp we go to. Like, it's so, the cultures are so diverse. We need like a United Nations. I mean, so I start organizing, networking with all the, I'm talking about the Italians, the Mafia, Black Mob, Jamaicans, Sunnis, Shia, you name it. I mean, but it basically was like, all right, listen, if someone in the nation of Islam has a problem with someone in your nation, your clan, your tribe, your set, your body, now I mean, since you're the spiritual, political, military head or whatever, I'll come to you about that issue. They'll bring it to me, I'll bring it to you. Boom. Win, lose, or draw. If it's a thing where they gotta handle that business, let them handle that business. But it avoid a war where the Bible teaches us it's better to lose an eye or a hand, you know what I mean, than it is, or to lose an organ of the body than to lose the whole body. You know what I mean? Basically, like, you don't want two cellies arguing because somebody turned the TV in the day room or something, and now the FOI is going to war with some gang. I mean, and you got brothers over here that's going home in 3 months. You got brothers over here doing life. You got brothers over here with 20 more years. You got brothers over here great get a visit to see their children. Now, I mean, you got brothers over here trying to make this money to get out of jail. You know, I mean, it messes up your bid. I mean, so you're trying to bid in peace. You're trying to mind your business and get out of there. I mean, while you're there, you don't do time, you're using the time. That's how we move. Now, I mean, so a lot of young boys don't understand. Brothers don't be in there, Crips and Bloods and the JBM, and they don't be in there gang banging and all that. That happens every now and then, like anywhere out here. But people be in there trying to get out. They be trying, I mean, they be trying to file writ of habeas corpus. They trying to get over the time bar, the Post-Conviction Relief Act. They trying to get from under the Career Criminal Act in the feds. Now, I mean, so brothers be on some real stuff. I mean, and they network and deal with like minds and similar burdens. I mean, they know that it's us against them guards in the tower. And sometimes some of the prisoners is your enemy and some of them guards is your friend. So you gotta know how to navigate. You gotta know how to move in those type of dangerous environments. Now, I mean, otherwise you will not survive. You will not survive, real rap. Now, I mean, and one of the things was the young boys cutting people's faces up with these razors. I mean, it was like getting ridiculous. I mean, like they literally, I mean, so it's like, it's going to be bad if you cut fruit face with a razor. Me personally, my thing is you eat my food, cut my face with a razor, I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm not going to cut your face. I'm going to do everything in my power to get your head off your body. That's the, you know what I mean, just the mentality of that. You know what I mean? And, you know, so we had rules of engagement. It's always rules of warfare. You know what I mean? Got the Death Angel BMC shirt on. You know what I mean? Holla at me, you want one of them BMC shirts. You know what I mean? But real rap though, we had a situation where some fool thought they was going to cut fruit face with a razor. I try to talk him out. I'm like, listen, man. I mean, I mean, you know. So I try to deal with him like a man. I mean, with peace, diplomacy, respect. You know what I mean? But some people want to make a name for themselves off your name. See, a lot of times it'd be jealousy. You know what I mean? They think they could wear your boots, your shoes. You know what I mean? They think they could do what you do because you doing something natural and it looks easy. on the outside, and they think they could do it better. But when you give them the opportunity to show and prove their God skills, they can't do it better. I mean, because they're not you. It's only could be one you, whoever you are. Know what I mean? So instead of being themselves and accepting themselves, know what I mean, they try to get a rep off you. Know what I mean? So these guys, they want to be disrespectful. Now, our lessons teach us in 24 Principles of Islam, I believe, a Muslim respects all people and demands respect from all people. Know what I mean? We fear no one but Allah. A lot of people, all Muslims are like, fear no one but Allah. They're talking about a spirit of law, an unseen Allah. We're talking about the God or the goddess we see in the mirror. We're not talking about a spook Allah. We're talking about Master Muhammad is the supreme Allah to us. So it's a different mentality there. You know what I mean? Our thing was like, you tell me something like, oh, they looking for you in the yard, this, that, and the other, man. I'm not going to tell if I'm the minister. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to go get no fruit. I'm going to go get that thing and I'm going to run in that yard. Yo, what's up? I mean, no rat. Let's get to it. So that mentality is what keeps you alive. Now, I mean, it's like zero tolerance when it comes to certain stuff. Now, I mean, so, he's saying, he gave me the name. He's like, brother, your attribute is Elisha Fard Muhammad. Now, I mean, and he was like, your works and your mentality, that's just your name. Now, I mean, I was renamed Khalid Alif Muhammad by my Supreme Minister, Salim Willie 30X, years later. You know what I mean? And years after that, I just had the name just simplified, Alif Allah, because we all had the last name Allah. But that name, Elisha, my birth name Isha. Now, I mean, when he told me this story in the Bible, it made me lay down on that bunk. And at this time, we in the hole. We just shut the whole jail down. I mean, that's how we rock. We shut the whole jail down as we do. Know what I mean? But it's like, whoa, that's what just happened in the yard. I mean, like, you know what I mean? So let me take y'all inside this for a second here. So basically, you have Elisha and these teenagers mocking him. And the Bible says in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23, basically, they was like, bald head, they teasing him. You know how teenagers, thinking they tough, you know what I mean? And basically, Elisha calls on two death angels. The Bible calls them two bears. Two bears just come out of nowhere, and rip 42 of them apart. Just killed all of them. I mean, and people read this in the scriptures and be like, whoa. Now, I mean, and it's like motivation. I mean, like when I read Message of the Black Man, one of the things they used to tease Yaku when he was, the 6 years old, they used to call him the big head scientist. I mean, and it's a deep thing how prophecies operate. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that these things are written in the scriptures by 24 wise black men, scientists, 12 major and 12 minor. And he explains to us that it doesn't happen, but time repeats these things over again and again and again. We say history repeats. History repeats itself. It's not written for me. It's not written for you, but it's written because human nature never changes. Our characteristics can be modified or altered. Our mathematics could be modified. But the integers, the numbers, the maths, the 0 to 1 never changes. Know what I mean? That's just our perceptions of changes. Like we'd be like 1 + 1 = 2. No, 1 plus, you have to believe in a plus. If you don't believe in a plus, 1 + 1 is 11. 1 on top of 1 is a bigger 1. 1 on top of 1 is a bigger 1. It depends on what type of mathematics are you using. Know what I mean? So we're locked into this Eurocentric interpretation of the universe. But God's thoughts are not like mortal thoughts. Now, I mean, Master Muhammad teaches us we have 7 mind dimensions: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. So I just wanted to share with y'all this strange story in the Bible and just one of the strange war tales from the belly of the beast. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle. I'll leave. Salam Allah.